Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel, Stephanie Stevens T. Please be sure to subscribe. Check that button at the bottom. Today on my show, I have the fabulous Karla Ray James from the Rhubarb Festival. I asked her to be on my show today because she is an actress with a mission. And we also are going to be talking about hormones, transitioning, and her memories of R&B singer, trans woman Jackie Shane. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my show. This is the fabulous Karla James. Hi, girl.
Hey, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Delight to be here.
Flaming red hair.
You know it.
I love it. I love it. It's great. Now, I'm glad that you came on my show today. The reason I wanted to have you on the show is because I thought watching you at the Rhubarb Festival in that Bubbles Trans Pride,
Yes.
I thought you were amazing and you had a great message, and I wanted you to share that with our audience today. Where are you from?
I'm originally from the East Coast. I grew up in Nova Scotia.
Okay. And how long have you been in Toronto?
I've been in Toronto various times through my life. Most recently, I arrived in 2012.
Now, do you can you just give me a little bit about your childhood? Do you have mom and dad, brother and sister?
Yes. I'm the eldest of three children. I have two sisters, both younger. It was the sort of the standard little nuclear family, mom, dad, three kids.
Okay.
The family basically broke up when I was about 12 years of age.
Okay.
And pretty well, my mom left, and about a year later, I left.
Okay. So now, how long have you been in Toronto?
8 years.
8 years. How do you like it?
I love it.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Now, are you living downtown?
Yes, I live in Chinatown, very Kensington Market, very vibrant area.
I saw a little blurb on your Facebook page. It says the Queen of Spadina.
Yeah, that would be me.
Oh, okay. So now, I saw you in the Rhubarb Festival doing this piece. When did you start acting, or when did you want it? How long have you been acting?
About 4 months. Yeah, this is my latest incarnation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is not part of the transitioning.
No, this is actually something that has come as a result of transitioning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so an opportunity came.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you open doors, right?
So now, how long have you been taking hormones?
I've been on hormones now for 5 years.
So what, can I just ask, what made you think, how did you know you were different? When did you know you were different?
I knew very early on. I didn't know what I was, but I knew I wasn't the same as everybody else.
Okay.
It was a lifelong journey of discovery, actually. I'm late transitioning. I've been in transition now for 10 years.
So now, after transitioning, after just deciding that you wanted to be the woman that you are, now, what were some of the positive and negative struggles along the way? What was the good and the bad? What's been the good of all of this?
Yeah. Well, the good, as I mentioned a moment ago, is it's all kinds of doors have opened to me. Opportunities that I never could have imagined. Things that I would never have the confidence or even the courage to try. As far as the negativity goes, the hardest part is society's inability to deal with my transness. It's that I don't have a hard time. I don't have a problem. They got a problem.
Now, what have been some of the good points? What have been some of the positive points? How do women see you? I sometimes think maybe certain women don't like us.
Generally speaking, women love me.
Okay.
Generally speaking, there is a certain segment of the population that has a little bit of difficulty with the whole concept. And oftentimes I find that's a result of belief systems that they may have. You know, and anybody who meets me, who spends any time with me, you know, things are great. They love it. It's okay. Well, yeah, okay. Now we get you now, girl. You know, we understand you now. You know, and they welcome me open arms. But if you know, but in the beginning, you know, if especially people with strong religious beliefs, sometimes that gets in the way, and they can't see the person. Right?
Like, what is your like? Sorry for cutting you off.
Okay.
What is your what is your religion? What's your back? Like, what is?
I would. I'd have to say that I'm sort of pagan.
Okay.
The old religions, right? The earth religions.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
No, I mean we all have our rights to believe in what we we believe in, and I truly believe that. Now, in the transition process, once you decided, did you go to a doctor and like to explain to us the process of you deciding to take hormones, see a doctor, and what was the experience like of that? I mean, just so we can educate maybe some people out there in a small town or just anywhere that might be feeling like they're different.
Yeah. It was. I'm an older woman, and it was difficult back then. Because even the medical profession, and perhaps I could say particularly the medical profession, really was not very accepting. There was a tendency to pathologize, the tendency to say, well, there must be something wrong with you. If you're different, then that's an indication that there's something wrong with you, so we got to treat that, right? That made it difficult. It's different now. Things are changing. It's much easier. Society in general and the medical profession in particular is much more supportive. Okay. In those days, you pretty well had to work it out by yourself, right? So you were looking for sisters. You were looking for role models, right? And hence Toronto. You know, people say, why is there so many queer people in Toronto, Karla? And I say, well, because there's so many queer people in Toronto, right? Because this is where we come. Because this is where we find community. This is where we find our own people. And we thrive in the company of community.
Now, you know, in the LGBTQ pronoun community, I have to ask this question.
Of course you do.
What's your pronoun?
She
I've learned
and
so
her.
much. Okay.
She and her.
She and her. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about that whole identity thing when people are taking the pronouns she, her, they, us, we?
Yeah. Personally, I feel I can respect that. I can respect how people feel about themselves. But I feel we have to be a little bit careful with that, because if we divide this into too many little pieces, every time you do that, the box gets smaller, right?
Okay.
And the numbers get smaller. And united we stand, divided we fall, right? And our strength is in numbers. So if we start cutting people out, we may find ourselves standing there alone. And you don't want that. Because, right? Never forget what you are, because society won't. And they'll use it against you.
That's very wise advice. Now, let's say in general, what is your day like? Just let's say Karla is walking down the street. What is people's reaction to you? Can they tell, or do you pass? What is it? The whole pass thing. What is it that you need to pass?
That's another thing, and I'm not really big on that. I pass as a trans woman. That's the identity I claim. I claim a trans woman. I'm not trying to be anything else. I'm not trying to take anybody's place. I'm not trying to occupy anybody's space. So as a trans woman, yes, I pass that, right? People, I get looks. I get looked at, right? And is that a man or is that a woman? No, I'm a trans woman. Thank you very much.
Now, now that you said that, now, what kind of men are attracted that you are attracted to that you think are attracted to you? I mean, the tattoos and everything sort of
Yeah.
would either make you a dominatrix fetish. I mean, most men would look at you as though either you're a biker chick or you're into dominatrix. Like, and the flaming red hair and the lips. I mean, these are all
Very provocative.
and sexy.
Yes.
So, what kind of men are you attracted to?
I have a very specific flavor. I like black men.
Oh, is that for a particular reason?
Yes, it is, because they're very smooth and they're very confident and they approach me.
Oh.
I have no time for a boy that's going to sit across the room and make faces and winking and blinking at me all night. I'm blind. I can't see that far.
Oh.
You got to come and talk to me, right? You got to come and talk to me. Yeah, flirt with me.
Now let's just talk a little bit. Now that you've opened that window, I'm going to go back because the hair and the tattoos. I think people want to know a little bit of the history of the tattoos and the hair. But I want to talk, now that you said that you're attracted to black men, now you know how hard, now me being black, I know how hard it is for black men to come out and say that they're either gay or they're bi.
Yes.
They always want to put on this face like they're men. Now, not necessarily that you have to tell us straight out. I mean, it'd be a good idea, but when it comes to the sex, are they tops or are they just or they're bottoms?
No, I'm the bottom.
Okay.
I the bottom, baby.
So you need a man.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's all I wanted to say, because some black men, if you ask them about the what do they call that, pegging? If you ask them about the pegging, they'll say, "Oh no! I'm strictly the top. I'm the man here, and no, I don't do any of that back door stuff. I'm gonna do it to you because I'm still the man."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how do they treat you after
Very
the
well.
sex?
Very well. Yes, they treat me very well. Very romantic. It's very loving. It's very
Let's get back to the tattoos. When you what was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo was this one. This was done in 1979 by Beachcombers on Queen Street West. Yes.
And was that a rebellious tattoo, or was that acting out, or was that just something you felt you needed to do?
This was my armor. Right? Because back in the day, everybody's inked now. I mean, it's very fashionable, and you'll see young women do it with all kinds of tattoos. But back in the day, if you were tattooed, you were either a criminal or you were a biker.
Oh yeah.
In either case, you were dangerous, right? Okay, so I'm not very big, right? And in my early 20s, I was not a very imposing figure. So I needed something, right? I need armor. I need some kind of defense, right? So that was the ink, right? It's stay away from me because I can hurt you.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, now it's considered fashion.
Oh yes, yeah. It's like doing your eyes.
Yeah, right. It's no big deal. How do you feel being a woman now that you've chosen? This is who you are. This is who Karla is. How do you feel now that you've made the decision to live your life this way and accept the challenges of being you? How do you feel about
I feel so fulfilled. I feel home. I feel at home in my life and in my body for the first time ever.
Okay.
I mean, I look in the mirror and I love myself. Right? I say, "Oh, look, there you are again. It's a new day, girl. Come on." You know what I mean? Right? But that wasn't always the way. I used to look in the mirror and I used to hate myself. Self-loathing, and I can't stand myself, and I don't think I can live in this world another day. That's all gone. That's all gone.
So I hear you are actually going to do something that's going to make Karla feel special and make you feel like you need to do what you plan on doing. I hear you're going to do some surgery.
Yes, I am. This is my 10th year of transition, and I've been saving my loonies and toonies, and I've done my best, and I've accumulated a fair little sum, and this year I'm going to get full facial feminization, and I'm also going to
Oh, get
invest in
implants.
some tatas.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know, a girl's
Well,
got to
right,
have the
right.
tatas.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got to have the
You
money
got to
makers.
fill out the dress, right?
Oh. That's very good. I have to use that in my show. Thank you. You don't mind if I steal that
No,
joke, do you?
honey, you
Okay.
help yourself.
Now, it's great to see that you are actually happy now and things are going in a positive direction for you. I mean, because you know, a lot of times we face so much adversity and trouble from a lot of different groups and different people and just every day, sometimes even your own friends.
Yes.
Now,
People are a little too quick, and then they see us sometimes and they think, well, they got to be mentally ill. They got to be desperately unhappy. They're depressed. They're drug addicted. They're alcoholic, right? They're promiscuous. This is all because they're unhappy. Well, they may, there may be those among us who are unhappy, but I'm not.
So, have you ever went to support groups to help you deal with the transitioning period?
Yes, and I found that a real positive experience, and it made a huge difference.
Now, what did your family think? Like, what did your family think? You say you
My
have
father
two sisters?
disowned me.
Okay.
He didn't think too much of that at all. My mama was very supportive, but then my mama was very supportive all my life. No matter what I did, she was always there for me.
You know, that's a really important thing.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, my mother used to tell me before she died, she used to tell me this forever, that I am a blessed child. And it was just weird how she just always knew.
Well, that's your mama, girl. Of course she knows.
It was like she just always knew. And it's great when we have that support system, I must say. Now I heard that you met one of the first trans women, or you read about her, or she was an inspiration to you, Miss Jackie Shane.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Tell me a little bit about how you first,
Well, I've always been a big fan. I grew up during the 60s and 70s. Motown was such a huge part of popular culture. I mean, it totally dominated popular culture at the time, right? And Jackie Shane, rest in peace, rest in power, was such a force of nature that at the height of Motown, they were chartering buses in Detroit to come here on the weekend to see her perform. Now that's got to be something. When Motown leaves Detroit to come to see you here, that's saying something. Yeah.
You know,
she's an inspiration and an icon.
That it's weird. I looked at the some of the back footage of Jackie Shane and everything. She was elegant.
Yes.
And very raw.
Yes.
I like the fact that she was raw. She lived her truth.
She really did, and she just laid it out there. And if you didn't like it, that's your problem, not hers. Yeah.
So she was was she from Toronto?
No, she was originally from the southern states. Yeah.
And it was great the fact that she was a trans woman, like you say, living her truth back in 1979.
Can you imagine what that took?
And people actually, when people pay their money to come see you, that means that you are talented. You have a voice that you can use in many areas. It was great the fact that when people get on a bus to come see you and pay their money, that means that you are influential in the world.
You got something to say, and they want to hear it.
Now, during your transitioning and doing what you do now, what is it that you think Karla can, teach some of the trans women? What's your advice to trans women or people who feel like they're different to pursue their dreams? Let's say like Jackie Shane and yourself as an actress, and people that even myself who's working to have my own talk show. What do you say to people that have these dreams but are scared?
I say come out wherever you are. Right? Don't be afraid. Live your truth. Live your authentic life, because you can't live any other life All those other lives are taken, honey. The only one you got is the one you're born with. Yeah.
Now, when you first went to the doctor and you talked to him, how? I just want to know what was the conversation like? What was your first words to the doctor that you were different? How did you explain to him that you wanted to go on hormones?
Yeah. It wasn't easy, and I went through 5 doctors before I could even get the words out of my mouth. Right? I came to my present place in kind of a roundabout way, because rather than a straight transition from who I was, I sort of moved through the gay community. I lived for a while as a gay male, right? And then slowly moved, became a little more trans, and that's how I arrived at it. So when it came time to actually speak about hormones, I mean, I was already living as a woman, and I mean, as a patient, they were familiar with that. So it was almost inevitable. I mean, like, they knew it was coming before I said so.
Oh, wonderful. Now, what's your, let's just say, what is a day like for Karla? Just like, let's just say you're out and about. What is your day like?
Well, I don't book anything before noon.
Oh.
Right? First rule. Yeah. That doesn't mean I get up at noon. No, I'm an early riser, but I reserve the morning for my own purposes, right? You have things to do, right? I take care of my own business, my own errands, and then after that, I'll deal with the world. Right? Yeah.
So, do you think what's your advice to, let's just say, people who are now taking hormones and going through and thinking about maybe reassignment surgery? How important is it for you to see your doctor? How important is it for you to see your support groups, see your doctor? What's your advice to them? Because sometimes people, they take the hormones and then all of a sudden they say they want to be a woman overnight.
Yeah.
And then they stop going to the doctor. They stop taking their hormones because they feel like they're feeling fishy, and they've obtained the goal because that's it.
They think that I'm there. I don't need y'all anymore. Yeah. Well, that's not really the way it works. It's a very long and it's a very incremental process. And hormones literally affect every cell in your body. Literally every cell in your body. So it's important that you maintain contact with the medical profession, with your doctor. It's important that you apprise your doctor of all the changes that you feel and the changes that are happening, because you may not be aware of warning signs, like general health. Like one of the concerns for older women on estrogen is blood clots. The Ontario, I'll give you an example. The Ontario government will cover estrogen injections, but they won't cover estrogen patches because they tend to be a little bit more expensive. But injections are not safe for me because they have there's a higher frequency of blood clots. So I pay for my hormones out of pocket.
Okay.
And that's on the advice of my doctor.
Okay.
So it's vitally important that you keep in touch with your doctors.
Do you plan on having reassignment surgery?
No, I do not. No, I'm the girl with something extra, and
there
I'm
you
just happy with that, honey.
Me too.
Yes.
Now, when you say about having when you think about your daily life as a transsexual woman. Do you work? Do you actually have a job?
Yes, I do.
And how do your coworkers treat you? Like when you come in every day, and let's just say there's a new employee that just happens to be there. They haven't met Karla yet, and Karla comes in being Karla.
Yeah. Well, I don't stand for intolerance. I don't stand for hate. I won't put up with that. I demand respect. Yes. So no, I have no time for that. No time whatsoever.
So this is something that's always bugged me about the LGBT, I'll say, pronoun community. Now, when we have the Pride Parade, the Gay Pride Parade,
Yes.
and now they just call it the Pride Parade, so it's more acceptance and people get more sponsorships and everybody can feel inclusive without the word gay in it. Now, I've noticed they have now 3 different parades.
Yeah.
The Trans
Yes.
March,
Yes.
the Dyke March, and
Yes.
then the Pride
The
Parade.
big production, the big Pride Parade. Yeah.
Now, why is it that it's important to have, why don't the trans community march in the Pride Parade instead of having their own parade?
Yeah. Why don't
what
we?
sense
Yeah.
that
Why
that
being
make?
like that? Why don't we just join in with everybody else? Well, what happens? Because we are much fewer in number, what tends to happen is we get lost in the crowd.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, our needs are not recognized. We're not seen. We're not acknowledged. We're just another. We're just part of the circus. Right?
Well, now, sometimes trans women have been thought of as drag queens. Have
yeah.
people called you a drag queen before?
Yeah.
Now, back in the days, in the Stonewall days, drag and trans women were the forefront of the fight.
Yes, they were tight.
So, for me, it just seems very strange that there would be 3 different parades.
Yeah. Well, the trans parade. I'm supportive of the trans march in that. As you know, the origins of the parades and that it was a protest. This was a protest march. It wasn't a party. The party come later, right? It was a protest, and the point of keeping the trans march separate is because our battles are not won.
Okay.
We're still struggling, right? And if we march along there with Royal Bank and all the rest of the big dollars, right? Then everybody says, "Oh well, things must be fine. Look at them, right? They having a good time, right? Woo!" Yeah, no, we're not having a good time, right? We're still jumping off of buildings. We're still being murdered, right? We have to drive that point home, right? And when they see us marching separately, as a group unto ourselves, it's very, very difficult for them to ignore us and our needs.
That is really good.
Thank you.
It's really good. Now, at the end of the day, let's just say, what's your advice to trans women activists? What is it that trans activists need to do to make your life better?
For me,
Because in our community, I have found that trans women don't do enough. More, I would say, even the government do more to support us and try to help us than our own community activists that so-called are supposed to be standing up for us.
This is an issue. Well, as I said, it's about unity. It's unity. We have to stand with one another. And if I was to say anything to people who are active in activism, don't forget, right, that just because we on the far side of 50, we didn't disappear. We didn't go anywhere, right? There are as many elderly trans women as there are young women, right? And our needs are every bit as important as 20-somethings, right, who are parading around looking fabulous. That's all wonderful, but don't forget about us.
That's
Because
right.
we've been here all along. Yeah.
Don't forget about the trailblazers, the
got
ones that were in the trenches, the ones
got
that
it.
started it all, the ones that took the punches.
Yes.
A lot of the times the kids forget about that today. I am so glad that you were on my show today. You're an inspiration. I just loved you in the Rhubarb Festival, and I wish you nothing but more success as an actress. You were amazing, and you just made us think, and I just want to say thank you. And as a person of just what I consider normal. For me, this is normal. And I'm talking to someone that is normal.
This is our world.
Welcome, sister. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karla.
Such a pleasure to be here.
And it's great that I met you. And you know what, girl? Together, we're going to make it.
Yeah, we
Okay?
are. Yes,
and
we are.
stay strong. And you know what? Don't give up on your other sisters.
I won't.
All
I
right.
won't miss it.
So thank you. Thank you for being on my show. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being on the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you guys so
Thank
much for
you.
tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe. Today I had the fabulous Karla Ray St. James. In my final thoughts, I think we all have the right to choose what makes us happy and whole. Thank you guys very much. Over and out, everybody. Bye-bye.